What's going on, everybody? So essentially this is going to be a short video, as short as I can possibly make it at least, about how I K-swapped my CD5 Accord. I'll be going over all the parts that I used, and how long it took me, and if there's any questions, please leave them in the comments below. So we're going to get started here. This is a 1996 Honda Accord LX, specifically. So here's the car. Let me back up a little bit. There we go. Pardon the voiceover. I didn't like the audio when I recorded the video. But anyways, here is a K24A2 that I used. It was specifically from an 07 Acura TSX, and then I used an 03 to 07 Honda Accord transmission. That's a 5-speed. It's a manual. You'll need to use the shifter cables and shifter inside the car that match the transmission. I believe this is the same as a first-gen TSX, so you can use that if you want. There's a shifter in the car. We'll look at that later. But overall, this swap was pretty simple. And then, so the axles for the driver's side, I have a stock TSX axle. I have an EP3 half shaft, and then on the passenger side, I have an 03 to 07 V6 automatic Accord axle on the passenger side. That's what works best. Thanks, Johnny, for that tidbit of information. And then over here, I've got the K-tuned adjustable idler pulley. You can use the hybrid racing or a stock EP3 pulley, whatever you want to use there. I just went with K-tune most of my stuff just to get everything from the same place, essentially. I also have the K-tune thermostat housing. It's a swivel housing, so you can put that lower hose end wherever you need it realistically for your hose to come out. It lets you put your sensor in it. It's just a nice piece overall, in my opinion. I've got the K-tune silicone radiator hose. I'm running the throttle body you see there is an 03 to 07 Accord throttle body that's cable driven. Well, specifically 03 to 05, I think. For 06 and 07, they went to drive-by-wire. These radiator brackets are from K-tuned as well. They have a universal radiator mount kit. Comes with the lower tabs, uses well nuts underneath the car. You drill the hole, install the well nut, and then you can screw the tab in to the well nut, so that you can have your tabs for your lower radiator posts. I used a large spall fan here and here. One's a 5-blade, one's a 10-blade. I believe this one pushes about 1600 CFM, and this one pushes about 1200 CFM, so that's more than enough to cool the K-Series. Also, just to quickly mention it, I do have an EG K-swap throttle cable from K-tune on there as well. And then the wiring, I use versatile wiring for the wiring harness, and it was one of the best decisions I could have made because it was literally plug and play. The conversion harness is included with the engine harness as well, and everything literally just plugged in, and it all worked the way that it was supposed to. It was really nice. It helped make this a really nice and simple process in terms of wiring. It's got a link ECU. I'll get inside the car and we'll talk about that in a second. I did have to clearance the subframe just a hair so that it cleared the ring gear on the transmission. It's not a whole lot, and it wasn't that bad to do. I also did my best to keep the engine as stock as possible so that most of the stuff was easily accessible to everybody. There are RDX injectors in the engine, and it does have the Type S oil pump, but that's about it. For the header, I used the K-tuned budget header. That's the one that fits, actually clears the subframe for the Accord. A 4-to-1 header does not fit. Ask me how I know. But yeah, overall, it's pretty simple. Hassport CDK mount kit. You'll have to choose the option that matches your transmission that you're going to use on their website. You do have to cut that mount out and weld in the bracket that comes in with theirs, with their kit. This is an FT230 battery that I got from Hush Performance. It has been working great. It doesn't drain down. I have a Honda Element alternator. I think that's got the highest amperage that I could find for the K-Series. I have the stock Clutchmaster cylinder. I had a kit from Valix Racing on there already, and it's still on there. I have an Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator, keeping my base fuel pressure at 52 psi. It's also working well. You see the big Russ fuel filter right there. It's a great fuel filter. Have no issues with it either. And then you've got the return feed. There's the return. Um, all the yellow paint is just stuff that I deemed important to mark so that I know if it's coming loose or not. On a track day, it's easy visual so I can see. But yeah, overall, had all the parts arrived at the same time, I could have K-swapped this in a day. This is the level 7 performance quick vent cap. This intake was made with everything that I could find on AutoZone's shelf over at their intake section. It's pretty simple. It's temporary, 100% temporary, because I plan to have an actual legit air box and everything and make it nice and neat and function a little better. Hopefully get those intake temps down a little bit. And then let's move over here and take a look inside the car real quick. So in the car, here's the 03 to 07 Accord 5-speed shifter. Like I said, I believe it works for a TSX as well. It's my oil temp and pressure gauge. And then I got the Link can gauge as well, which I highly recommend. Helps keep your gauges simple. It's a pretty neat little gauge. Can turn the ignition on here so it fires up. And then you can set up warnings. You can set up this gauge basically however you want. You can display up to 4 sensors at the same time. So like I've got speed and RPM on one page, I've got coolant temp and AFR on another page, and then you see battery voltage and air intake air temp on that page. But you can have up to 4 gauges on each page, and it is CAN based, so it essentially just plugs into their ECU, which is what I'm using, K20X plug and play Link ECU. And then here's the cable for it whenever I need to tune or check anything in the ECU itself. But yeah, super nice ECU, and I love it. As well as that gauge. And then these door panels I made out of 20 thou thick aluminum. And then I took like the upper third of another Accord's door panel from the yard, and then I made these straps and got it all to work. I'd like to find some fully manual doors and get all the wiring out of there and maybe get this thing just a little bit lighter, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. I think it'll work for now. But yeah, overall the car's pretty simple. And I'm trying to keep it that way so that if you're ever, out at the track or anything, or ripping it, or just driving around or on a road trip, everything you can find at a parts store essentially. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this car. I do have, for the sending unit for the coolant gauge in the car, there's an adapter that K-Tune makes, and then you can use Honda's original sensor. It's like an 1/8 inch NPT. Goes in there on the right side of the intake if you're looking at the engine. I did keep the mount that I cut out just because it was a pain in the butt to get out of this chassis specifically. And, just as a little memento for the next phase of the car as well. It's definitely not going back in though. But yeah, overall, this swap was fairly easy to do these days. Pretty much everything is available off the shelf, and the information is all out there if you look. But you do have to look for it, or you can just reach out to people who have done it and ask. They're more than happy to talk to you about what they did with their car and what worked for them. But just kind of take everything as a case by case. But yeah, this is K24A2 and a CD5 Accord with a 03 to 07 Accord transmission. Rear of this car is stripped out. Somebody can still sit back there if they want to. They can just lean up against some of the metal. I'm not going to say it's the most comfortable thing, but it does work. And then, yeah, there's not much else to it. Like I said, I try to keep everything simple. It has the stock TSX intake. And like I said, if you want to save yourself some time, use the versatile wiring harness. I need to set my suspension again. It did get sent off while the car was down so that it can get a more digressive set of valving. You can't really see anything there. I don't know why I tried, but anyways, it has a more digressive set of valving. I'm running 18K front springs, 12K rear. I was on 14K front, 10K rear, but we stiffened it up a little bit, and it feels a lot better. But like I said, I need to set my dampening. I'm going to include a little dyno pool, and here's K-Tune slave cylinder. Like I said, I use the Valix Racing clutch kit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. So yeah, here's the dyno pool.